Okay, we are being recorded now.
Yeah, and I couldn't get him to change that.
What?
The address, what you looking at?
No, I was at the date.
Yeah,
When did we turn this on? Turn it on in July?
must have turned it on that day, right?
Are you looking at something having to do with the town already?
Library.
Or library?
That's the way it's doing.
Are you tracking something?
Well, I just want to make sure that something's actually happening.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, these guys, I got a project up in Glen that was turned on in March and it's made 147 megawatts and never starts recording none of it. So, now I'm looking more carefully.
Yeah. Well, so today I got the new bill, electricity bill from the town hall, and we were negative for the first time. We generated more than we used, yeah.
Good.
So, not by a lot, but every little bit helps. So, let's get going on this. Did everyone have a chance to look over the minutes? Were there any comments?
Yeah, I had one.
Okay, hang on.
A couple actually.
Okay.
In the part about Sunday, it
Yep.
said Doug is the one to open his
Oh.
house.
Yes.
I don't have solar. I mean, my neighbors might be, but
Oh,
yeah, I don't know where that came from. Unless it was someone else.
yeah, I'm going to just get rid of that line. Oops.
And Connor's name only has one O in it. CR,
Yeah.
which I have to keep looking up.
Yeah.
Anything else?
There's a couple of references to Connor up above.
Oh.
That's you.
Three. That's all I had.
Gotten the other one right. Okay, that's it?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Accept that as read. A word of warning, the Conservation Commission minutes that we're taking right this, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that says you and it's not supposed to be you.
Okay,
So,
well,
yeah.
I'll look at it.
Okay, very good. I have had a very busy month and I have basically done nothing that I was supposed to do other than put some stuff on the website. So Doug, I'm going to have you do an update on the Sunday activities next thing, but just to go through the action items that I did not do. I have not contacted CENH yet. I will do that. I did update the website. I was up at my father's when they did the presentation. I was doing something. I let them know that I couldn't be there, and they did record the presentation, and I will review that. I haven't done it yet. And Jack, I've still done nothing in terms of getting in touch with Steve Lindsay. You didn't contact Sam Evans Brown by chance on the lease stuff, did you?
About what?
The lease stuff. You
No.
suggested that he might know lease terms.
Right. Yeah, no, I actually saw him the other day. We didn't have time to talk about that, but I'll get back to him.
Okay.
Actually, I have to go through my leases and make some.
Okay, that would be helpful before we meet with Steve. And let's move, so that basically takes care of the action items, or does not take care of the action items, as the case may be. So Doug, let's move on to you. I will bring up your announcement. Okay.
Yeah.
But Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, so this was put together for the benefit of the select board. We are on the agenda for Monday. And, it all seems pretty good. Like I mentioned last time, I've talked with a couple members of the select board. They're very supportive, being neighbors of mine. Surprising. But I guess the big news and the big development is that the town or other parts of the town are looking at doing some big public outreach regarding the Town and Trails initiative. folks have heard about that, but it started out as the Interconnectivity Committee, but it evolved into this Town and Trails program, which is in conjunction with UNH Cooperative Extension. They have a whole team of people, and that's all about, you know, connecting commerce with better pedestrian access and particularly the trails. You know, with my Conservation Commission hat, and I've been involved with that for some time. But the deal is they want to do an event the same weekend, and it seemed to make sense, kind of
Same day.
sort of combine
Yeah.
the two. And so they plan to do a presentation in the morning of the Sunday, the 21st, at, I guess, Barrington Elementary School, I believe is the site, which, you know, isn't very far as you walk or drive from the town common. And I think they want to do some kind of a formal opening of the perimeter trail or something about the common as well. And so, you know, that's all, it seems like it all kind of fits together pretty well. They even were talking about, you know, seeing if we could get a food truck there, and you know, having more related events. So it seemed to fit pretty well with what we'd already had in mind. But of course, I'm waiting to get the official approval from the select board to, you know, say that we're going to do it at the town common.
So Ernie, the town planner, brought this up at the planning board meeting, and it sounded like they were going to support a bunch of activities. I mean, some of what you mentioned, but it sounded like they sort of had part of a day planned.
Yeah, I don't know if exactly how he put it, but I was at the meeting that happened the day before, and took a lot of notes. They, you know, a lot of it is they want to get people more engaged with, you know, obviously there's a lot to be done. Everybody said, well, it's nice we have a town common, but ain't nothing there yet. You know, it's just a big open space that's been there forever. I had to remind them we do have a parking lot now. You know, that's a good resource, you know, if you want to access it. And that obviously there's a lot in the works, and you know they've done a lot of planning. So they want to, you know, talk all that up and get people engaged. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, and there's rec department events going on also that weekend, and I figured it would be good. You could kind of promote, hey, you know, you're coming to this game on Saturday, why don't you come by the common on Sunday, or something to that effect.
Cooperative Extension did a really great write-up on Barrington Trail Systems. I don't know if you guys, have you seen that?
No.
I shared it, I think, with the select board members.
Yeah.
It was a really nice article, and it's on all the social media posts and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you guys.
And of course, I have talked with the Conservation Commission. You know, we figure any town organization could have an information table there, but seemed to make sense that, again, related to the town and trails, is we're hoping to have this big map that shows all the trails finally in one map. And possibly a you know, a more in-depth version just of the town center. I mean, that's part of this town and trails project.
Is Stratford Regional doing a detailed map of that center?
I believe so, yeah, or Cooperative Extension or somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't remember who was doing what, but
Yeah.
I do need to get back to Stratford Regional about the big map, just because they hadn't finished it as of a month ago. So
Did Ernie or anyone else say anything about publicity for the event? I know you had mentioned.
not
getting
specifically, yeah, I mentioned
the
it.
town website.
Right, but obviously they have to give it approval. I asked Connor about, you know, if the town wanted to do a proclamation or something. He said, oh, the town's not really that into doing those sort of things. So I don't know.
I
It's not
mean, I think,
necessary.
you know, if they would commit to their social media sites and their website, that would
Right.
probably be as much as they can do.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it would
and that
be
would be
nice if
fine.
they do that.
Yeah, at least to kind of give sort of tacit sponsorship.
Right.
That would be good. So I think that's about it. One other thing that I thought would be good to include is the community garden. You know, it is solar energy, right? And I don't know, I probably know somebody who knows who manages that, but
The community garden, the
at
thing.
on Caleb's.
Okay.
Oh,
You know, it's adjacent to the common. It's actually on Caleb land, I guess, but.
What do you mean it has solar?
Well, you know, you use solar energy to grow stuff. I'm just saying,
Okay.
there's a connection there, you know. The Sunday organizers nationally are pretty, you know, cool about anything that's at all related, you know, electric bikes, electric cars, heat pumps. I mean, you know, anything that's also renewable or you know, energy efficient. And on the national level, I've been looking over some of their materials. It's interesting, they were saying there was going to be another gathering in Concord at the State House, but that's no longer on the map. Evidently, I think what they probably did is shifted it. There is a new site in Keene, and it's the same group, the Third Act, that's sponsoring that. So maybe they just shifted over to Keene because you know, capital wasn't working out. So that may be good for us, and that, you know, groups like Clean Energy and 350, you know, probably won't be in Concord, so maybe they'll come our way. So I thought that might be to our benefit.
Are we on the map?
No, because I was kind of waiting to get the town,
Okay.
but I'm figuring I will do that early next week. I looked into what's involved in getting that done, and it's pretty straightforward, but. You know, we definitely want to get us on the map, and then you know, they have a whole this thing called Action Network, which is ongoing, you know, support for all sorts of nonprofits, and so they would set up a RSVP system, and people could contact us, you know, if they have questions or whatever. So, you know, it's fairly interactive in that sense, and I'd certainly set up a Facebook event page as well, you know, just on my own or. Perhaps with Jack.
Okay.
For the Sunday,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But on Jack's Facebook site.
Well, you know, I can do it on mine, or, you know, it doesn't really matter where it's.
I know
based.
nothing
Yeah.
about Facebook, so
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, the deal is everybody shares and co-sponsors, and
Yes,
it's all kind of interconnected,
Okay.
so, yeah. So that's, I think, about where we're at this point.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot more to do, but again, I'm kind of waiting on getting the official approval.
I will be there on Monday,
Yeah, that would be good, yeah.
and we'll see what the select board has to say. I'm sure that they'll support it. It would be interesting to see what kind of more, I don't know if you can call it material support, but what active support they have in that direction. Okay, great, thanks, Dan. Let's move on to the Community Power Coalition. There was a board meeting on the 31st. Went over a bunch of stuff. The stuff that was of interest to us, so we've looked at the community benefits page from the booklet that they give out. That's the one that has the Barron specific statistics and things like that. They are going to upgrade that. There's going to be month-on-month tracking, so there'll be history. It's going to cover cost, revenues, and savings for each town. And I think the savings is the one that we will be most interested in, most want to publicize.
How do they publish the savings when their rate will be?
Well, it might be costs. It might be negative. I have not tried to calculate since the last rate change what's going on. But the thing to keep in mind is they also the savings will be represented separately, But there's also sort of, each town also is banking money with them in the reserves. That will be represented as well. So even when the savings for each customer is negative, the reserves will be, well, now they'll be growing because they have a mandate that they have to grow the reserves. And they have to carefully price their rates so that the reserves will grow.
It'd be nice if they could show like historic, right? Show the
They're supposed to.
savings first year we were in, right? And then, because, we're still in the black.
Yeah, they said there would be a historic indicator of what, I don't know how they're gonna do this. They had wanted to have it at this meeting, but they didn't make it. They assured us that it will be ready at the next meeting. So, right now, we just had the standard thing that we always have seen. And it is a little bit interesting. They did report, we had been anticipating that there would be a higher attrition because of the rate change. It really hasn't. It has been at 1.2%. And you can see for Barrington, these are the statistics as of July 1st. And basically the opt-in and outs are almost matched. There's more ins than outs. I don't know exactly what that means. I mean, it means that, it means just what it says, but it seems odd to me that people would be opting in at this point in time. Who are these people?
It'd be cool if they could show the savings or cost since inception, right? So like the current year, but since inception.
Yes, I
I
agree.
mean, lots of bank accounts and things that will do things like that, it seems.
I think they're gonna do that. If they don't, I'll ask the question.
Wonder if it's new homes or things like that.
It could be, if people are moving into town, so the normal way that happens is they usually get put on the Eversource default and sit there. And then the coalition does what's called a refresh. And those are done at quarterly or annually. And that's when they send out letters to new customers. But those are on hold right now. They're not doing that while the rates are higher than Eversource rates. So.
And
Is that by policy or because they have to?
I'm not really sure. I don't know if it was a decision that they didn't want to,
Timing.
right.
But it would be the default, unless they say, I'd rather be with Eversource or some
No,
third party.
no, it wouldn't. For new customers, it's not the default
Oh.
until the letter is sent out and the refresh is done. If there's a refresh that's done, then yes, they are moved over in the same way that we were or some of us.
So their default would be Eversource then, if they don't,
Until the refresh is done, yes.
for new customers.
Yeah, for people who move to town and have new meters.
Yeah. I was gonna mention, because I think one of my neighbors was suggesting or wanted to know more about options. That if somebody had a really low rate and then it ran out, the contract ended. And then, or it, shot up, as most of them do when you
You mean a third party?
third party one, they would be opting in, perhaps, if it's a better deal.
Well, most people, if they're really looking at this point, will go to Eversource.
Right. Yeah, unless they don't like Eversource for.
Right, which, is certainly a possibility. But if people are strictly looking at cost of energy, that's where they're going.
But there is also a lag time too. I don't know when the opt-in, opt-out is set, but they have to
It
wait.
should never be more than 2 months. It is supposed to take effect at the next meter reading, and they don't, and I don't know when Eversource does that meter reading.
But if the new rate just kicked in like last week, right?
Yes.
August 1st.
Yeah.
That most people wouldn't know about it.
Unless they looked at the town website or our site or.
Yeah, but we know most people don't.
No,
Although there's well, I mean, there's been a fair amount of publicity. There's been a number of editorials.
Yeah.
So
Well, it'll be interesting to see if it changes next month.
Yeah, well,
The news, it's been saying that Eversource rates are gonna go up, and I think both for power and the delivery, it sounded like.
yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are, anyway.
Yeah.
Like before the winter gets.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I'll skip ahead. These were some of the headlines from In-Depth New Hampshire. These were from the public advocate and Gary Rayno, who's one of their commentators. And they are really raking Eversource over the coals for the increases. The meter fee, the basic fee that they're charging. PUC basically gave them more than they asked for. And there's going to be annual increases. Right now it's about $18. There are going to be annual increases until it's up around $40
For a meter?
for basic service. And Don Kreis has a couple of editorials on that, which are worth reading. These are the links to them. Gary Rayno did another one on that. They're really unhappy about this. And I may put a battery back down at my kiosk and turn off the power because, I mean, it was sort of close anyway, but it was not, and when I had big car batteries down there, I had to replace them every few years. It was a pain in the butt. I'll put a modern system down there with lithium batteries and a heater. And just until I get an EV, why, I'm not gonna pay that. I sort of accepted the 16 or 17 bucks a month when I was using, 50 cents worth of power. But when that goes up to 40, I mean, no, I'm not gonna.
Well, I think it's only set to go up to 30, but, stages.
It will take quite a while to get up there. It's something like $2 a year that it's
Yeah,
gonna go up by.
Yeah, so it won't be like next year,
No,
double.
it's gonna take.
But
a while.
Eversource is claiming they're losing money on every account. I mean, I find that hard to believe. I don't know what the price of the meter is.
They did not ask. I mean, in Eversource's defense, they didn't ask for this. The PUC gave it to them.
Who are those people? Jesus.
Yeah, well, they're former Eversource.
Yeah,
executives.
It's really hard to believe. Anyway, I just thought I'd jump ahead and show you those headlines because I kind of love them. PUC and Eversource customers drop dead. But anyway. So getting back to the Community Power Coalition board meeting, as you know, they were doing a leadership search for a CEO. And actually, it's for more than a CEO. There's 3 positions that they want to fill. They want a CEO, they want a power resources director, and a chief financial officer or equivalent of any of those. There was a fairly heated debate about which of these was most important. Everyone is very happy with the job that Henry is doing. And as a result, filling the CEO position seems to be less important. He's doing a good job. He's very responsible and, everyone's happy with him. There was a contingent that just wants a CEO, and there was a contingent that basically said, we should not do the CEO search right now. We should concentrate on the power resources director. And I don't know what happened with the financial officer. That sort of fell through the cracks from my perspective. But what they decided in the end was that they would continue the search for both, but they would prioritize the power resources director. That's the person who would be involved in the rate setting procedure and pulling together the statistics, someone who should be very knowledgeable about the technical aspects of all that entire process. And my feeling was that that is the person that they need to have on board, because Henry's not filling that role. He's, he said he's not qualified and that wasn't what he would do. So the risk management committee is basically performing that function. And they're good and they're experienced, but this is not a full-time job for them. They are unpaid volunteers. So anyway, that is the status of the executive search. As I said, attrition rates have stayed constant. The coalition is old enough now that after a certain period of time, there are mandatory audits that are required of both financials and processes for the various committees. Those are underway. The financial audit came out very well. There were a couple of little minor points where they needed to make some changes, but basically it looked very good. And the process audits are underway now. So there'll be more about that in the future. One of the things that was brought up, Mark Bollinger, who is the projects committee manager, he's actually an employee of the coalition. And he's been responsible for the Poverty Plains project as well. So he's in charge of all that. They came out with a cute name for the annual solicitation program to increase renewable energy, the ASPIRE program. They've decided they want to accelerate that to take advantage of the federal tax credits that are still there while they're available. So they're going to be working on that. Apparently EverSource, one thing that will help this out, and Jack, maybe you know something about this. Apparently EverSource's interconnection queue has shrunk significantly. They've really been acting aggressively.
I don't know about the big end. I can tell you the small stuff has been going through overnight.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's faster than it was.
Yeah, but
Okay.
by a huge amount.
Good.
Well, they were getting a lot of flack about it, and they just claimed, oh, we don't have the resources,
Yeah.
right? Or it's not in our
Well,
interest.
the first problem was they were running it all through one queue. So a 5
Yeah.
kilowatt project was stuck behind a 5,000 kilowatt project. So they must have 3 queues now. They've got a certain algorithm that looks at the initial application and decides, well, we can just do these automated. And a whole bunch of my stuff went through overnight.
Great.
It's good.
Well, this will be larger scale stuff that they'll be looking for, but I think that that's a large part of why they feel they might be able to accelerate this and take advantage of the credits while they're still there. And I don't know how long that is.
Well, if project, I think that they still haven't clarified it, but I think as it stands now, if projects start by the end of the year, which means really spending money.
Yeah.
Like 5%, you have 2 years for completion. Yeah, it's not, there's only so many things that are gonna get done in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just looking at how long it's taken to get these projects proposed and then funded and then, final okays on everything and then actually go out and some money gets put down. At the end of the year, we're almost there.
Well, and you're pretty much, you're gonna make a commitment for a project long before you have utility approval.
Mhm.
So, you're rolling the dice right up front.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that. I was surprised to hear that. I didn't think they would be able to do anything along those lines, but, Mark is a smart guy and he's been doing things. So we'll see what he comes up with.
I actually sent him an email this morning asking if he wanted to buy power from Cornish, the project that I have at Cornish. I'd rather sell it to him.
Yeah.
But they're not in a position to buy yet.
How much are you offering?
138,000 kilowatt hours.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So would the coalition actually own any facilities or just
They
facilitate?
in the future, yes. But I think that's a ways off.
Yeah,
I think,
it's not gonna happen.
yeah, I think it would be more the Poverty Plains model for the immediate future. So they would be doing power purchase agreements. And then when when their financials are more in the clear, they'd be interested in pursuing things like this.
If
Yeah.
if the money's there.
Yeah. Right. And, then you get into all of the corporate financing, that I don't know anything about that, but they do. So we'll see. I had mentioned that, we qualified for gold certification under SolSmart. I am probably going to be out in Wyoming for the local energy solutions conference. 27th?
Of September,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I might be back by then.
it's the 25th, because I know it's right after the 21st. It's like
The
a
25th, yeah,
Wednesday.
it's the 25th.
Yeah.
So we do have tickets. Jim, did you want to go again? Did you want one of the tickets?
Where, that
Same place.
in Manchester?
Yeah.
What, it's the 20,
25th, September 25th. It is a Thursday.
yeah. I'm not sure right now.
Okay,
Looking at my
well,
plate, so.
we do have tickets. I would appreciate it if someone could represent the committee there and accept the certification. I assume they're going to have a little award ceremony. It sounded like that's what they were planning. I'll know more about it as it gets closer.
The 25th.
Yeah.
I gotta check. I'll be back. I'll go if I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's possible, I might go if it's free. I don't like paying $100 just to.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Workshops and stuff.
To chew out Eversource?
But I think, do I get so I'm a personal contributor also. Do I get a free ticket?
You should,
on
yeah.
that? So
Mhm.
we definitely will have some tickets available.
I'm sure we have at least 2 tickets, and if I'm not in town, somebody can use that.
Okay. Yeah, so that should not be a problem, but I would really appreciate it if someone could represent us there. Town hall update. We are, so the new Eversource bill was split because up until the end of July, it was the old rate, now they're on the new rate. I didn't represent that in here. But we are, now that we're in the summer period where we're generating reasonably well, we've pulled slightly ahead in our month to month. And now that the rates have gone up, that will accelerate probably significantly. And we'll probably be looking better for the rest of the year.
You pull that offline?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I send him
Well, I
Yeah.
think you're talking
talking
about the
bill.
Eversource bill.
Yeah.
Actually, this is all based on what Jack sends me.
Oh,
But I did look at the bill as well, because I always want to verify that that the distribution and transmission fees haven't changed. And I realized they change when the rates change as well, so I no longer, so they will change next month, and I do know how they're changing. And it's weird, because the distribution is even across, usually they change it for the first 500 kilowatt hours. They're not doing that. The distribution fee is constant.
What?
Check this out. Guess I closed it. Just a second. Nicely sized. So for the town hall, it's rate G. There we go. So here, these are the distribution energy charges.
Really?
Yeah, it's very weird.
That's interesting.
And
What's that about?
the energy charge is correct. because that's the one thing that I know. Transmission is pretty much the way you would expect, but anyway, I noticed that because I was wondering if I needed to change it for this month, and I did.
Well, there's a big increase right there, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the solar panels were purchased by ARPA funds, in essence, every month, the generation is a savings that this year's budget, the taxpayers are not paying for electricity,
And
right?
it's a lot, it's a big, I mean, if you look at the difference between what the bills used to be and what they are now.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
huge.
there's a return on investment if you're looking at the ARPA funding, but actually, because it was not from taxpayer money.
Right.
We could be saying every month, whether it be on a website or a poster in the lobby that says the solar panels on this roof saved this many thousands of dollars this month to Barrington taxpayers.
Yeah, yeah,
It would be very impactful, I think.
yeah, I guess that wasn't the way we evaluated the break even,
No, but
but it is a reasonable way to do
it
it.
is because I mean, if those panels weren't there, that would be the electric
Right.
bill on the town budget.
Right, and I wonder. Now, I'll look at at tracking that and, putting that together. It can't be that hard. I don't think that the spreadsheet will do that for me.
This one?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't deal with investment at all. But, was it all ARPA funds? I don't remember. Did the town put in anything?
That's all
I
our.
think it was all of it.
Yeah,
I don't
I think so.
It's 100% savings.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Well, it'd be nice to have some figures like that we could present, Sunday.
Okay,
General
yeah, I'll try to.
We should figure out how to make a poster with the library and the town hall on it.
It'll be the same in the library too, because those were all,
The library, I'm
Donation.
not tracking.
no, but it's
Yeah,
all the
but-
same.
No, I'm gonna do what you were doing
Okay,
the same way.
yeah.
The library's not quite a month yet.
No, that's just,
Yeah, I mean, it would be a little premature, but just so that everyone is aware that we are not,
I think it was like
we
the
were
9th
only
of July or
peripherally
something like
involved
that.
in that, and I did not
yeah,
want to
that's
be
right.
responsible for
2 days before.
tracking.
Yeah, it was right around that
That's right.
day or two before the grand opening.
So it's not gonna, well, yeah, we'll
This
see,
is-
we'll see in the next one. This is 7-3, so we'll see in the next one.
Yeah.
Are there anything to talk about as far as the library goes? Everything's working?
They're using pretty well.
Rec center?
Not much.
You've been on vacation, what would you know?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, that was everything I had. And anyone have anything else they wanted to bring up?
I have one news item.
Oh, good.
It wasn't big enough to put up as a link. I mean, there wasn't a story, but if you might have heard, especially if you listen to Maine Public Radio, I think they were the only ones who covered it. I guess it's the Interior Department, Trump administration has announced that they are erasing all the offshore wind energy areas, WEAs they're called, that haven't been leased. So, all the ones south of the Cape in New England have all been leased out already. So they're done. And New York and several others up and down the coast. But there's ones in California and Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico. They actually call it the Gulf of America now.
Let's
Not
not.
officially,
Yeah, let's
yeah, but we don't have to. And the Gulf of Maine, which is still the Gulf of Maine. Again, that haven't been leased. If you recall, there were just 4 areas that were leased out. That was really about a quarter or third or something of the available area. So what it means is they're basically back to square one, and we'd have to go through the whole process again. I mean, hopefully it wouldn't take quite as long because it took about 10 years altogether to get to that point. And presumably a new administration would just say, well, let's just go with what we had. But it obviously sets things back. I don't think it really sets back the Gulf of Maine because these areas that were leased are going to be studied, and, you know, it's up to the companies if they want to put together a plan to develop them. You know, most of it was going to be 5-10 years down the road anyway, so it may not have any practical effect. But I did have this vision of, you know, Trump sitting down with a big map and just getting out an eraser, you know, like he did with the Sharpie, and you remember the weather map where
Yeah.
just sort of get rid of it, because we all know he has a strong antipathy to offshore wind, even though it's making money. I mean, they're and on the good side, in Virginia, the big power company down there, they're moving ahead with this one, and it's like 2,500 megawatts. I mean, we're talking like twice the size of Seabrook, or more than that. And that is moving forward. It's supposed to be up and running like next year. So
That's because funds were committed. I mean,
yeah, that was all permitted.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, you know, we're just going to lay low and keep quiet about it. So,
Yeah.
so, you know,
Yeah.
there's still progress, but obviously it's not what it was.
There's going to be a hiatus. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, and of course the tax credits will disappear as well. So, but you know, it's growing around the world. I mean, they're now building turbines that are 15, 20 megawatts. I think there's one they're planning. It's like 25 megawatts, one turbine, and they're humongous. They're like and they even have some dual turbine ones. China's been particularly innovative.
What are dual turn?
Well, they have two struts that meet, you know, on a platform, but each of the struts going, you know, like at 4 or 5 degree angles has a turbine on it. It's kind of wild, but they've actually built this, and it's, you know, 800 feet tall or whatever, and they're working. So, you know, stuff's happening.
Yeah, no, I mean, the rest of the world is definitely moving ahead, and we are certainly going to fall far behind.
Yeah, yeah. But like I said, there are several projects. Another one is New York and Firewind. Trump had originally tried to cancel it, and the governor, I guess, really.
Yeah, well, even with those, I mean, I think we're going to source more and more of those projects, that the ones that continue from, you know, products that will come from overseas, because we're just not going to develop that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So.
For terraform.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, I did want to mention, things are light during the summer, so I am doing just one meeting a month. So we will skip the next meeting that was scheduled for August, and the next meeting will be on September 4th. And maybe I'll be back to doing things, but
Yeah, well, I hope we can, I mean, we can do stuff on Sunday outside
Yeah.
meetings, but.
yeah, and we actually,
Sure.
I wanted to make sure we had a meeting before that took place so that we could discuss anything.
Yeah,
we need to.
Yeah.
And there is a chance, depending on what happens at the select board meeting on Monday, there's a chance that there'll be some things that we'll want to discuss. And if so, I'll send a notification. Okay, thank you, everyone. That's it.